Hi everyone, welcome to the Joel Pettit Law Vlog. My name is Joel Pettit, and today I want to make a video about the TDRL and why it exists. Now, why am I doing this and why it's important to you? I'm doing this because I recently had an interaction with someone wherein they sent me a screenshot. I'll put it up right now. And this screenshot contains a definition that is quite incorrect, to say the least. I would call it an interpretation of the law. However, I don't know where you would interpret this from because it is so incorrect. It just seems like it's been made up out of thin air. So, and why is this important to you? Because the IDES community needs as much accurate information as it can get, as soon as it can get it. So this definition was put up on a website that's very popular with veterans and service members to go find out information about the integrated disability evaluation system. So I wanted to clear this up for you. When I followed this link, I just typed into Google, what's the difference between TDRL, the temporary disability retirement list, and the PDRL, the permanent list. This is the first link that came up. I followed the link and I was shocked because the definition I showed you was in the facts section of the questions about what is the difference between TDRL and PDRL. Well, what should be done when you're writing these things, putting them up on websites, is looking to the law, statute, regulation, what have you, to make sure it's accurate. Well, the TDRL is explained in the DoD instruction, that's DODI 1332.18 in section 9. Okay, again, that's DODI, not M, I, 1332.18, section 9. In the first paragraph, and I'll put that up right now, it states that when someone's on the TDRL, they're there because although they may have a permanent condition, it's the stability that's not clear. And I'll explain that real quick. For instance, let's say you have PTSD. We all know that most mental health conditions are not exactly stable because they react to different environments. Well, if you have PTSD, let's say you're rated at 50%, why would you go to the TDRL even though it may be permanent? Because the stability, that doesn't relate to the permanency. It relates to what are the highs and lows, if you will, or the right and left lateral limits, as we say in the military, of the symptoms, meaning how adverse do they really affect you. Because if you have PTSD at 50% currently, and you're in the military, but the military is the exacerbating factor, which is making the symptoms worse, then the PEB adjudicators are saying, okay, they're at 50, we got it. However, they're not going to live in the military forever. They're going to live in the civilian world. So what are those symptoms going to look like? And should the rating actually go up or down? Well, that's exactly what the TDRL is for. So the TDRL, when on the TDRL, you get health care, you'll eventually go to a TDRL re-exam. That examination will be then sent to the government, the PEB, of course, and along with health records that they request that you submit as well, they review them and then they re-rate you. So if someone's at 50%, can that rating go down? Yes, if you improve. Can it go up? Most certainly. They both happen all the time. I've seen it many, many, many times. Because sadly enough, not everyone who leaves military service, even though the service is exacerbating the factors or the symptoms, that doesn't mean that their civilian life can actually make those symptoms even worse. So that's why the PEB has the authority to rate higher and lower. So both. Well, in this quote that I've put up before and I'm putting up again, it states that the TDRL is only for members whose conditions may improve enough to bring them back to service. That comes from nowhere. Nowhere. It does not exist in any law. At least not the purpose of the TDRL. Is it true that a service member can be found fit while on the TDRL and is there a way back into active or reserve service? Yes. That's in 10 USC 1211. So yes, there is a way to do that. But that is not the purpose of the TDRL. The purpose of the TDRL, as I showed before in section 9, the first paragraph, is to give the PEB 36 at most months of medical observation for the service member, and that way it gives the PEB a sure footing on which to make its rating determination of a permanent condition. That's all it's for. The PEB adjudicators, they are smart, they are dedicated, they are very nice people, but they are not clairvoyant. They cannot see the future. So that's why the TDRL exists. So please, going forward, know that the TDRL is not simply for people who the military thinks they can bring back in, transfer services, somehow use them for a month and let them go later, or something of that weird nature. It's not. Sometimes things can be simple and straightforward because they serve a very simple yet important purpose, and that's what the TDRL does. The TDRL is, you cannot do away with it because every mental health condition is going to vacillate a bit based on environment, but also physical issues such as a back condition, a knee condition. They're not always treated to their furthest extent, if you will, because the time the service member has been in and has had treatment available. So it's not just mental health. It's also musculoskeletal issues and nerve issues. So when you go, as a service member, when you're watching this, I'm not asking you to just take my word for it. Look up the DODI 1332.18, Section 9. Read it for yourself. Because I understand I'm a guy on a YouTube channel. I may be an attorney. I may be an experienced attorney. But it doesn't mean that just because it comes out of my mouth or it's on my website, it's gospel. The trusted, good attorneys should always point you to the law. Always. They can summarize it for you. But if you ever question that summary, feel free to read it. It's public knowledge. It's in the public domain. Don't feel like you are prohibited from doing that. So, with this knowledge, I would urge every service member, when a non-attorney summarizes law, be very careful about just trusting it out of hand. Because as attorneys, we have licenses that require us to make our best efforts to be correct in our interpretations and summaries to our clients and non-clients. We do not just get to pontificate or speculate about law and what it means. Non-attorneys can do that. They don't have that disincentive. Their only incentive is to not get caught doing it wrong, incorrectly. But that doesn't mean anything if it doesn't hurt the business. Lawyers are different. Same thing with doctors. Same thing with accountants. Anyone who has a license. Pharmacists, for God's sakes. Our licenses are very, very vital to our livelihoods, and we protect them. And in so doing, we want to be correct because we want to provide the best service to our clients and our customers. So I hope this has helped. If you have any questions or concerns, please visit my website, joelpettitlaw.com. Send me an email, shoot me a phone call. I'd love to speak to you about your case. As always, have a good day.